Aloha Nikawamai. Hello and welcome to today's video. You're joining me for Saturdays at the Shoreline, and today we're talking about ownership. But before we get there, let's first talk about that thing we talked about last week, connection. Let me know in the comments down below that you like this video, leave a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and after you hit this subscribe button, hit that bell icon right next to it so you get notified every time I upload a video. So let's jump right into it. There are 3 things that I think are important to ownership. Number 1, if it's yours, it's yours. Have you ever known somebody that was working on a project and when they didn't get done with it, they were like, oh, that wasn't mine, I wasn't supposed to do that, that was somebody else. That's not taking it as their own. That's not having ownership over what they were supposed to do. So one of the things that's yours is your responsibility within a team or an organization or on a project that you're working for. Let's say you're in high school or college and you're working on some project that requires a team to come together. It's too much for one person to do in the span of time that the teacher wants it done in. So you have a team of 5 and one of you take this subject and one of you take that subject and one of you take, the opening statement and closing statement. Well, your responsibility within that team is to take care of what they assigned you to do. So if you are to work on the intro and conclusion, you get your work cut out for you. The reason why I say that is because your responsibility within the team is to communicate with the rest of the team and make sure that your intro and your conclusion matches up with what they're talking about in their parts of the assignment. The next piece that I think a lot of people miss is the responsibility for your team. And what I mean by that, you're in charge of that team, somebody doesn't do their job, some of the ownership is on them, but it's also on you as the leader. When something happens in a company, and say the company goes bankrupt or they have a bad deal, who usually is at fault? Do they blame the little guy who was just following what they were told to do? Or do you see the CFO or the CEO stepping up, taking the blame for it because it was their team that made the mistake and either resign their position? Right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. They're taking ownership in that position. And then finally, one of the things that I point out in almost every video is learn, learn, learn. The person needs to learn how to lead better. Now, that doesn't mean just watch my videos. That means read some books, watch some TED Talks. TED Talks are great sources of information. Learn more about yourself as a leader and what that means for you. My leadership style may be completely different from yours, and that's okay. So I'm curious, while this video is still going on, leave a comment down below and let me know about your leadership styles. Go on to number 2, maximum effort. One of the first things when it comes to maximum effort, at least you're trying. It's been said, you miss 100 shots that you don't even take. And that's true. If you try, then at least you're trying to make yourself better. Let's say you're given a big task at work and you know how to do it, but you have your own methodology of getting it done. You try your best and your best is your best. So back to the learning point for this section, learn to accomplish better. One of the ways to learn how to accomplish better is to get that feedback, something that I talked about in last week's video, and I will leave a link on this video later for you to click on that and go back and re-watch what you watched last week. So that brings me to my last point. Number 3, the blame game. Now, I don't know if it's a society problem, a culture problem, the way some of us raise our kids problem, I don't know. I haven't done any studies on it, but I do find all too often nowadays we blame others for our mistakes and our failures. And that's just not the right way to lead. Whether you're leading from the top or leading from the ground floor, some way you're leading somebody. Okay, so when I say don't blame others or no blaming anybody or anything, my dog ate my homework. That's not taking ownership of your homework. You just didn't do it. Parents out there, you feel me. Did the dog really eat the homework? I mean, it's possible. I have seen some YouTube videos and other snippets on Facebook and things of dogs just tearing through some homework, but I have a feeling the kids enticed that dog to do so with a treat or some other fancy way to get rid of their homework and say, my dog did it, and lay the blame on somebody else instead of themselves. Instead of playing the blame game, follow the 3 tips that I gave you. It's your responsibility, so take ownership of it. It's your responsibility, accomplish it. Once you accomplish it, help somebody else with their task. Maybe they're struggling, maybe they're at a hiccup and they just can't get past it. Don't hold their hand. When you hold their hand, you're not helping them. All you're doing is taking their task too, and now you have 2 tasks that are your responsibility instead of just 1. Just encouraging them. Say that they can do it. Ask them, what are you struggling with? And then help them through that struggle, whatever it is. Final learn point for today is learn to embrace failure. It's a fact of life. We're all going to fail somewhere, somehow, some way. Elon Musk with SpaceX just posted a video of all the spectacular failures of the Falcon rocket. But this year, they've had 100% success, knock on wood. And you know, I wish Elon Musk the best. He has done amazing work with SpaceX, and the Falcon Heavy is supposed to be launching here in a couple months, and that's gonna be great too. Elon Musk even said that first launch might be a spectacular failure, and I think he even said he'll be happy if it gets off the ground. Now, for the owner of the space program in SpaceX to say, I'll be happy if it gets off the ground, you know he's ready to embrace failure, because you know that he will learn from that failure. Now I've discussed with you a little bit about ownership. 1, if it's yours, it's yours. 2, maximum effort. And 3, no blame anywhere. So with that, let me know in the comments down below what you think about leadership and how you take on ownership. Keep it clean, keep it polite. Click that subscribe button. If it's red, that means you're not subscribed. So once you click on that, a little bell icon will show up next to it. Click on that bell icon, and then you'll be notified every time I upload a video. That way you won't miss anything. And then finally, click up there for last week's video on communication. Mahalo for watching. Aloha.